Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Living Well with Prostate Cancer webinar series. My name is David James. I'm the Head of Patient Projects at Prostate Cancer Research. And today, it's my pleasure to welcome you to our Body Confidence Workshop in association with the charity Look Good, Feel Better. So first off, a little bit about who we are at Prostate Cancer Research. Prostate Cancer Research is a medical research charity that's focused on improving patients' lives through the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of advanced prostate cancer. So by funding novel and innovative projects at world-leading institutions across the UK, we are working towards ensuring better quality of life outcomes for patients and improving the diagnosis of prostate cancer earlier and ensuring better treatment options and better care for people affected by prostate cancer. We're very proud to fund 15 research projects right across the UK, from world-leading institutions in Aberdeen, Cardiff, Cambridge, Oxford, Norwich, Newcastle, and London, and many others too. Our research portfolio consists of a number of research projects focused on things such as bone metastases, radiotherapy, immunotherapy, hormone therapy, and AI, all with a shared aim of reducing morbidity, increasing survival rates, and improving the quality of life for people affected by prostate cancer. Now, I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new project we have planned. At Prostate Cancer Research, we actually intend to set up the first of its kind prostate cancer registry in the UK. Now, Prostate Cancer Registry is a database of information on individuals who have or who have had prostate cancer. And it can be about a person's medical history, about new treatments they have had or are currently having, and changes to their experience over time. So as it stands right now, the problem is that there's a lot of information about prostate cancer already out there, but it's scattered at sort of disparate sites right across the UK. And what happens is this really fragmented approach is slowing down diagnoses and slowing down developing new treatments to tackle prostate cancer. And on top of that, the problem is that people's lived experience of this, their shared experience of prostate cancer is not at the heart of the information that's out there. So it's very difficult for those who are investing in new research and trying to develop new breakthroughs in diagnosis and treatment to actually get a true understanding of the impact of prostate cancer on people's lives. So by gathering all this information together in one place, what we hope to do is be able to ensure that real people's experiences are at the center of this information. And we're able to pull this information together in such a way that allows us to really transform the world's understanding of prostate cancer and ensure we're able to develop better treatment and ensure that we're able to develop new diagnostic tools to diagnose prostate cancer at an earlier stage. Now, what we are doing is we've launched a new campaign, a pledge campaign, asking people to pledge their support to a registry. So we're very proud to have Stephen Fry on board and pledging his support for this registry, because he realizes that his experience as someone who's been affected by prostate cancer matters when it comes to speeding up and shaping vital research. And obviously we hope that by telling you about this registry, you'll appreciate that your experience really matters too, and how your involvement can benefit not just yourself, but also others who have been affected by prostate cancer. So on the screen right now, you'll see our webpage, pcr.org.uk/pledge. And that's where you can go and go onto our website and pledge your support for this registry. This is not a financial pledge. We just want to make that clear. We're not asking for money. I'm asking for something I think much more valuable, which is your time and your commitment to supporting this registry and helping us demonstrate that this is something that people affected by prostate cancer do care about. And if we're able to raise the funds to launch a pilot early next year, your pledge will be really a sort of integral part of helping us do that. And then we'll come back to you when we're in that position to launch the pilot with more information about how you can actually get involved. So what I'll do very quickly right now is I'm going to drop this webpage in the chat. And for those of you who some of you may have already done this, but if you haven't, I would encourage you maybe just take 40 seconds to head over to our website and pledge your support. And what you'll see when you go to the website is just a page that looks like this. You just can pop in your name and details and simply sort of click to pledge your support. So I'm just going to give, as I said, about 30 seconds for anyone who would like to do that now. We really obviously appreciate that, because that's going to be instrumental in helping us move this project forwards and make a difference for people affected with prostate cancer. So as I said, I'll give you 30 more seconds and then we'll move on to the rest of today's session. Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much to anyone who did go and do that. We really appreciate it. So obviously, beyond our research, we're also dedicated to educating, empowering, and supporting our patient, partner, family, and carer communities. And that's why we launched this Living Well with Prostate Cancer webinar series in collaboration with our good friends, Tackle Prostate Cancer, who are the UK's National Federation of Prostate Cancer Patient Support Groups. So just a few housekeeping rules before we begin. There is no chat function today, but if you do have a question for our speakers, or just anything you need to sort of get in touch with us about, please just go into the Q&A section and type it in, and then we will either we'll sort of reach out and sort of message you back if it's some issue, or if it's a question about what's been said during the presentation. Then we will be actually taking questions at the end. So we've left about 15, 20 minutes at the end to answer your questions. So just a reminder to everyone that this is being recorded, and we will be sharing this recording out with everyone who was able to attend and those who weren't able to attend probably later on this week. So it's my great pleasure to introduce you today to our speakers. We have Sarah Emerson and Charlotte Valerio. So Sarah is a regional manager for Look Good, Feel Better, and she helps set up and develop Look Good, Feel Better's body confidence services. And Charlotte is the founder of You Are You Styling and is experienced in supporting men and women to be the best versions of themselves through their own personal style. So Sarah and Charlotte, over to you, and I will stop sharing my screen so you are able to take it away. Thank you so much.
Thanks, David. So good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We are I know I speak for Charlotte and myself here when I say that we are super excited to be able to deliver this to you this morning. I'm conscious that some of you may have accessed the skincare and grooming workshop on Friday. However, for those that haven't, just a real brief overview as to who we are, who Look Good, Feel Better is, the organisation, the charity, and what we actually do. So Look Good, Feel Better is an independent charity supported initially by the beauty industry and has been operational since 1994. We originally brought the core skincare and makeup programme for women across to the UK in 1997, helped by many member companies within the beauty industry, such as Estee Lauder, Chanel, and some of the big players like that. And we have been running, pre-COVID, we were running a very successful skincare makeup program for women in over 141 venues. We launched our skincare and grooming workshops for men around 4.5 years ago. And again, pre-COVID, we're just starting to have a very successful program, albeit it did take a little bit longer to get off the ground because it was quite clear that you chaps need a little bit more cajoling to get to a session. But we were starting to have a very successful program underneath us. Obviously, COVID hit and we very quickly had to adapt and be flexible and change everything that we were doing. So we moved everything online as quick as we possibly could. And because what didn't exist anymore was our normal day-to-day jobs. We were able then to work really hard on some of the areas that we'd long coveted, so such as this, body confidence, for the women, nail care and hair care. And we've also been able to launch some unisex services along the lines of more well-being. So looking at gentle exercise, breathing, mindset, yoga, tai chi. So lots of well-being offerings as well. So I'll talk a little bit more about how we can support you further once Charlotte's done the presentation this morning. But just to remind everybody today that this is a brand new service. We only launched the Body Confidence for Women in April this year. We were really, really keen to get off the ground with a service for men. And we couldn't have done that without the support and help of Charlotte, who is our style expert. And she has been absolutely instrumental in pulling together the content of what she's going to share with you today. We hope you enjoy it. We have literally only ran this once, and that was a couple of weeks ago. What I have to say is it was to a resounding positive success. The feedback's been incredible, nothing but positive. So we really hope that you enjoy it today. I'm sure you'll get a whole host from it. As David said, any questions for Charlotte, I'm sure she'll answer them at the end. But enjoy, and again, thanks for joining us. Over to you, Charlotte.
Good morning. Thank you, Sarah. Hi, everyone out there. Thank you for joining us today. So, as already mentioned, I'm Charlotte. I founded URU Styling approximately about 10 years ago, and it has seen me work with people one-on-one quite often at a challenging time in their life, or going through a time of change, or a time of reflection where maybe they've never actually really thought about personal style and how it affects confidence. So I've been working with Look Good, Feel Better throughout 2021, as Sarah said, to try and get some more services out there from the neck down. So not only skincare and grooming, but also who we are as people and how we dress and how we express ourselves through the way we dress massively changes when going through treatment. Not only are there physical changes, but I appreciate that there's a lot of emotional change there too. So today is my opportunity to try and impart as much of my personal styling colour knowledge, which is a theory-based workshop, in order to bring about small change today. And this is a start of a journey for you to be able to make some small changes to the way you dress to increase your body confidence. So I'm going to talk you through step by step. There's quite a lot of information, but what I've tried to do is do it in a way that's really practical and relevant to you. So it's not just lots of information, it's actually small tasks that you can actually start doing right away. This is the second time delivering the men's workshop, but as Sarah said, it had a great response. So for me, this is the chance to take it to more people and get the message out there that actually how you feel about your body might not be how you once felt. You might be thinking, I don't feel great right now about it, I'd like it to be somewhere else. But today is about the present. This is about trying to help you build your confidence and dress for who you are today. And I know with a few small changes that actually is going to make quite a big difference. So there's going to be a 5-step program I'll talk you through today. I hope you've all at this point hopefully got a pen and paper to hand to make some notes. There'll be some top tips shared afterwards as well, but I want you to obviously note down as much as you can, because I try to make this as specific and relevant to the group as I can. If you have got any questions, there will be time at the end, and we can share my details as well if anyone wants to get in touch after the workshop. So what I'm going to do is share a presentation with you right now. I'm going to share my screen, but this is a really good time to make sure you're comfortable, you've got a drink, you've got your pen and paper to hand, and if everyone's okay, then I'm going to get started, but I'll give you a few seconds to go and do that while I start sharing my screen. Okay, I'll give everyone a few seconds before I do start. But once again, thank you everyone for joining us for the Personal Style and Colour Confidence Workshop for Men. I'm really, really proud of the services that Look Good, Feel Better are offering. This is personally A really proud moment to deliver this to you, because it's not just for the women. You men would like some help with this too. I know you do. So I'll take a few seconds and then we'll get started. Okay, so to make sure we're all together and all on the right page, so confidence and style is what we'll be talking about today. The aim of today is to help you learn more about your personal style and how it can increase your confidence. I very much see personal styling as one element to lots of well-being elements that provide a boost in confidence at a time you need it most, and taking that time to focus on you and thinking about your image is a powerful form of self-care that we should all prioritise, men and women. Knowing you look good, particularly at such a challenging time, can give you a vital psychological boost. And I want you to realise that this isn't about fickle fashion and fast trends. It's not about vanity. This is about being confident in who you are and empowering you to think about the way you look and actually taking pride in your appearance. It will make a big difference. So we'll create a plan today for dressing with confidence and silencing the inner critic, which we all have, that inner critic telling us, this doesn't look good, I don't like this part about myself, this has changed. Maybe through treatment you've seen some physical changes, and that is really hard. So today is about silencing that inner critic and hopefully refocusing you on where you can build your confidence. So that's what we're all about today. And as I mentioned, I've broken it down into 5 steps to guide you through style and colour. Step 1, which is the foundation to everything I do when I work with people one-on-one, it's about understanding men's body shapes and how best to dress them. The idea being that visually, if you create a certain silhouette, a certain shape to dress well for the shape that you have, you can actually, through some very clever tricks, create an illusion of more balance in your body. The more understanding you have about your body shape, there's no right or wrong body shape. Your body shape might change slightly over time due to age, due to treatment, due to lifestyle, due to hormones and medication, so many factors. So the more you understand your own body shape, that's where your focus will be. And I'll give you lots of tips today on what to look for when dressing them. Step 2, which goes hand in hand, I see it as colour, embracing the power of colour analysis for men. So body shape and colour are going to be the first part of our workshop today. And you might be sitting there thinking, colour analysis, well, what does she mean? Is she telling me I need to wear bright colours? That's really scary to some people. What do you mean I can't wear black, can't wear dark colours? It's not that. It's about me imparting with you the power that colour analysis can have on your mood, on your well-being, the way people perceive you. And actually, sometimes just a change in colour, just in a top or a scarf or a jacket, can actually make you feel that little bit better. So the power of colour is a really interesting subject, and something that people, I feel, once they've had the knowledge, feel that actually that's something they can work on quite quickly to make a big difference. Step 3, conducting a wardrobe edit. I don't know how you feel about your wardrobe currently, but it's time to get organised and start looking at how do you actually make the most out of the clothes that you've got? Do they actually fit the purpose of your lifestyle right now? Step 4 is defining your style identity, which is a lot more about personality, about your lifestyle, about what you do in your career, what do you do for your leisure time, what do you want your style identity to say about you? And then finally, a guide to shopping well. Love it or hate it. Actually, with a few tips on how to approach shopping, you might enjoy it a tiny bit more after today. So I think we should get started because we've got a lot to cover today. But step 1 is all about men's body shapes. So dressing according to your shape isn't just for women. Men's bodies vary too. I know that there's probably quite a lot of noise out there about women's body shapes and being a bit more in tune with it. But establishing which body shape you have, it gives you a more specific approach to your style because you're going to dress for your shape. I've got here a visual of the kind of 5 shapes that a lot of people tend to fall into. And that's a rectangle, a triangle, trapezoid, oval, sometimes referred to as rounded, so it's interchangeable, but it means the same, and an inverted triangle. And trying to help you visualize these shapes is to try and give you a connection to what your shape is. The goal is to create a balanced, streamlined silhouette using the shape of clothing, lines, and color to increase confidence. And as I said before, there's no better shape, right shape, wrong shape. It's about identifying it and owning it and being clear on what your shape is so that you can actually refer to the tips I'm going to give you today, and it's going to make a big difference to you. So I've got a small task that when we finish today, I want you to think about, do you know your body shape? Take a look in the mirror and what do you see? Look at the silhouette. So I hope you're all writing this down, thinking about these words. It's the outline of your body. Which shape does it resemble? Think about those 5 shapes that I just showed you. Where do you carry your weight and build muscle? Do you wear a different size clothing in tops and bottoms? Are there areas you'd like to highlight and others you wish to conceal, which we'll come on to a lot more as we go through this step? And which features are you most proud of? Let's try and focus on those, which is a big ask, I know. But I've got something to help you with this. It's a body shape quiz. So I'm going to talk you through this quiz as we go through. But if you can see my screen, I'm going to leave it up here whilst I talk it through. If you can all see it, you can work your way down. It will help you identify your shape at the bottom. Okay, so think about, where is your weight distributed? Is your weight evenly distributed? So you can go one of 2 ways here. You can either go, no, it isn't. I tend to carry weight around my midsection. Or yes, I am mostly in proportion, slim or athletic build. Because that's what a stylist is going to be looking at. Everyone carries their weight differently. But the reason for that is I'm looking for any disproportion in your body, because then we will use clothes to be able to balance out that disproportion. If you're fairly in proportion and you think actually my weight is evenly distributed, then you'll go down to the yes, I'm mostly in proportion, slim or athletic build. Then I'm going to be looking at the shoulders and the hips. So if you were to draw a line from your shoulders down to your hips, could you draw a straight line? Would it go out? Would it go in? I'm thinking about silhouette here. So if your shoulders are in proportion to your hips, that's going to help determine the next step of this body shape quiz. If you're quite straight up and down, that's also going to determine. So there's no right, wrong here. It's about finding the answers that fit you. So I'm going to go down one side at a time. So yes, I'm mostly in proportion, slim or athletic build. Are your shoulders and hips in proportion? So if they are, then your body is quite straight up and down. You might have less of a defined waist. That will take you straight down to a rectangle shape. So I hope you're all with me in the group. If you're a rectangle shape, you're straight up and down, no defined waist. But can you see the shoulders and the hips? You could draw a straight line. So no, let's go across here. My shoulders and chest are broader than my lower half. Is this a big difference or a slight difference? If it's a slight difference, so you might be more broad on the shoulders, you might have a slightly more defined waist, then you're a trapezoid shape. If it's a big difference, you find maybe you're very narrow in the waist, maybe you've got a flatter bottom, maybe you find that you wear quite a small waist size in your jeans, but you're broader on top and you have to wear different size top and bottom. It's more of a disproportion. So you're an inverted triangle. Going across to the other side, if you carry your weight around the midsection, I see this shape quite a lot, either an oval or triangle, but it really depends on, are your shoulders in proportion to your hips? If they are, and your shape is rounded all over with slimmer legs, you are an oval shape. But if you're not, if say you carry your weight in the midsection, but your shoulders slope down and maybe your chest appears narrower to your lower half, you're a triangle shape. So I've done that task there. I just want to take a few moments, write down which shape you think you are, because I'm now going to go through each shape in a lot more detail. So obviously I want you to know which shape is relevant to you. So I'll give you a few seconds to write down the shape that you think you are. So don't worry, I'm going to go through each shape in turn. I'm not going to miss anyone out. It'd be really interesting if anyone wants to add in the chat which shapes they think they are. If anyone has any trouble with this, again, we will talk about it at the end, and I will try and make sure I can help you with that. But what I'll do is give you some top tips per each body shape now. And it's type of things to look for when you're putting on outfits and you're thinking, why does this look right and this doesn't look right? It's the big difference. So I'm going to start with rectangle shape. So I hope I've got all of the rectangles on the group listening. To recap, your shoulders are as wide as your waist and your hips. You're often tall and thin with no distinguishable waist, and you may be conscious more of weight loss. And this is something that we are coming across, particularly with people that have been through the cancer journey. They may have lost a lot of weight and be quite conscious of that. Your goal here is to emphasize your shoulders whilst narrowing your lower body to give the impression of a more trapezoid shape, so that you don't look completely straight up and down. But there's loads you can do for this body shape. And I've got some reference images here that show you the type of things that I look for when dressing for this shape. You can wear anything like print or texture or colors or stripes all on the upper half, because that gives the illusion of volume and bulks out that upper body frame. So you can see here a layering of a chunky knit, a check shirt, a jacket on top. All of those things are going to build up your frame and give the illusion that you're not up and down, you're less up and down, and actually more of a trapezoid shape. Anything such as the pockets on the navy jacket, the structured shoulder pads, they're all again going to give you structure to your shoulders. Anything such as shirts laid over t-shirts, bomber jackets, is to give that illusion of volume and shape in the upper half, especially on a slim frame. You can look for horizontal stripes. So anything that draws the eye across the body is going to add width. This body shape, this frame, will benefit from that width on the upper half. Also, think about your trouser legs. You don't want to go down to nothing. You don't want to look like you're accentuating an area of slimness. You can go for a tapered leg. You could go for a wider leg, a straight leg. You'll see here the straight leg denim is absolutely perfect for this shape. The bomber jacket, it creates a curved effect on the upper body, but it keeps everything nice and neat on the lower half. You can see here that structured tailoring. So the double-breasted jacket is actually going to create width, because the two lines of buttons here, can you see in the middle image, is actually going to give the illusion that it's a wider frame. Here with the blue suit, structure, stripes, tapered leg, it gives that illusion that actually it's not a rectangle anymore, it's a trapezoid. That creates a balance that this body shape needs. So look for chunky knits, look for structured tailoring. It's all print, detail and color on the upper half, and keeping it nice and simple, and darker colors on the lower half. So I use print and color to draw the eye, and dark colors to make it think something looks slimmer and darker and less of an attraction for the eye. So it depends where you want to build that volume within your frame. Moving on to the triangle shape. Your shoulders and chest are narrower than your waist and your hips, making you appear larger on the lower half of your body. You may also have the appearance of sloping shoulders. So the goal here is to create a body balance, and the appearance of broader, squarer shoulders will then in turn make the torso look slimmer than it is. And I've got some examples here where perhaps an outfit isn't really working for a guy with a triangle shape, and where an outfit is working. So you can see David Williams here. He's very much a triangle shape. His shoulders tend to slope. He doesn't want to be drawing any of the attention on his midsection. You can see here where the first image of him in the khaki jacket, the epaulets on the shoulders and the chest pockets are actually creating the illusion that he's squared off on the upper half. But also he's wearing dark colours across his midsection, which is actually really, really great to camouflage. So he's got that column of colour. Anything that's drawing the eye down the body is going to make you look taller, leaner. And then he's got all of the detailing on the upper half, which again, it gives that illusion that he's actually broader than he is. You can see here with Ricky Gervais, that jacket is adding all the bulk around his midsection. It's actually just working to the shape that he already is, which is sloping his shoulders down. He's not actually doing anything. He's got the trousers, the jeans are quite baggy. It's over exaggerating his frame and actually making him look bigger than he is. So fit is in the bottom image. Ricky Gervais here, he's got a check blazer on that's given that structure in the shoulders, but can you see the fit is much closer fit to the body? And actually, by doing that, is making him look slimmer. He's not drowning his shape. The next image I've used here is to talk to you about fabrics. So this body shape really benefits from a more structured fabric. So less of the clingy jersey that's going to cling to lumps and bumps, and actually a starchier fabric in a shirt such as this, and a boxier shape. So a regular fit around the midsection is actually going to skim over the body and not actually cling to an area that you may feel more conscious of. So a shirt such as this shape, and also a wider leg trouser that's tapered at the bottom, again, keeps your silhouette looking longer and leaner. And then jumping to David Williams again, wearing a shirt tucked into the belt is actually drawing your eye to the midsection, where actually you want to skim over the midsection and not draw the eye to that area. You want to draw the eye up to the shoulders and try and keep it so you look like a trapezoid. So just to touch on things to look for, I've touched on jackets that are structured, V-necks that draw the eye down the body, waistcoats are great for the shape, vertical stripes. So you remember in rectangle, it was all about horizontal stripes, adding width. This is more about drawing the eye down, so vertical stripes are better. You can wear a bold print, which acts as a camouflage. You can look for chest pockets, a regular fit, like I said, on the boxier shirt, so you don't want anything clinging around the waist. And any panels up here on the chest area, anywhere you can put lighter colours, or you can put print or bright colours, anything that draws the eye up will detract from the midsection. And also look for darker colours down below, which will really help. Moving into the trapezoid shape. It's quite an athletic shape. It's broad shoulders and chest with a relatively narrow hips and waist. You often might build muscle in the upper arms. And since this upper and lower body is quite balanced, your shape is actually the easiest one to dress. It's not about detracting from an area or creating a balance. There's less disproportion in the shape. You can carry off a variety of styles. So showcase those features. You could use V-necks. You could roll up the sleeves, you can experiment with print, but don't hide or add bulk to your frame. It's about actually highlighting your features and using fabrics with stretch so you can move and you're comfortable. I've used some images here of Daniel Craig. He has his core style. You can see here the colours that he sticks to, and then he has more fun and experiments on the red carpet. But he's a trapezoid shape. He's very much in proportion, so he can carry off lots of different styles. So here it will be actually about having fun and experimenting. This shape here, the oval, sometimes referred to as the rounded shape, is probably the shape that I see most when I'm working one-on-one with people. The body shape appears round, particularly in the stomach area. It often results in narrow shoulders and sometimes slimmer lower legs. You might generally be conscious of weight gain, and you may have experienced swelling across the torso, or maybe develop breast tissue that you wish to disguise. And this can often sometimes it can affect your posture, and you might stoop a little bit more. You may, some people may also have a bag that you feel adds width to your stomach. And the goal is to balance out the body by slimming down the stomach area, lengthening the torso and adding width to the shoulders. So, and the legs. And this is about balance. Balance is going to make you look taller and slimmer and less conscious of any swelling or a bag that you might wear. It's about drawing the eye again to where you want the eye to be drawn to. So if you want to invest in one piece for your wardrobe, if you are this body shape, think about shapewear, a compression vest to wear under your clothing to give you that confidence of holding everything where you want it to be. And what that will do is actually help with your posture. It will help you hold yourself better and make you feel less conscious. So shapewear is really important. Look at compression vests. Untucked shirts. So can you see here these bold shirts that Matt Lucas is wearing in the middle and the vertical stripes? They're a really great shape to skim over the tummy area. And these prints and the stripes especially are drawing the eye in a really fun way over an area without making you feel self-conscious. So avoid tucking in shirts unless you're wearing a suit. Those untucked shirts are going to be your friend. So avoid belts that are going to draw the eye to that midsection. You want to skim over and stop at the hips with your hemline. A tonal colour head to toe is really slimming. You can see Johnny Vegas is wearing all of his blues and greys and charcoals here. But also structured, stiffer fabrics are great for skimming over the body. Vertical stripes again, as I've mentioned. See this image in the middle? That bright blue jacket is drawing all the attention to the outer part of the body frame. The stripe is drawing the eye down. The shirt isn't tucked, so it's a really streamlined silhouette. And then it's a wider leg trouser, so you don't look like you taper to nothing. So that's a really good example of an outfit shape to follow. You can use texture such as herringbone. You can use prints. You can use fitted single-breasted jackets to draw a line down the body. Again, the eye drawn down the body makes you look taller and slimmer. Single-breasted jackets are better, and anything with a shoulder pad really helps to give you that shape that's a bit broader on the upper half, and it will make the lower half look slimmer. And for trousers, look for a straight or wide leg. You don't want anything too skinny because it's actually just going to make you look like you're bigger on the upper half. So it's just by making those small changes in the shape of clothes and the texture and the print of fabrics that you choose actually creates a completely different silhouette and helps you dress your shape really well. Finally, the inverted triangle. So some of you might know this is more of the swimmer's body, shall we say, where you're broader on the chest and significantly wider shoulders and then very narrow on the lower half. You might also find that you lean more to this shape if you are experiencing swelling or breast tissue across the upper torso. You might be conscious of weight loss around your stomach and your hips. So there's an imbalance here. The goal is to slim down the upper part of the body and add bulk to the midriff and lower body. So that will create balance. You look more in proportion. So the tips here, loads of great reference images for the inverted triangle. You don't want to go for, and this is the reverse of some of the shapes I've just been talking about. You don't want to go for all the structure up part here. You don't want lots of bulk and shoulder pads on the upper frame because that's where that is already wider. You actually want to slim that area down. You want to add any detailing and bulk and volume to your clothes on the lower half, which will make you look in proportion. So I'd go more for a grandad collar here in the t-shirts. You're looking at unstructured jackets. You don't want anything too structured. You can go for print or volume, like these pockets on the cargo trousers, or more detailed on the bottom half. You can go for pockets around the waist section in your jackets. Don't go for the chest pockets. Don't go for all of the detailing. You want it down in the midsection to add width to make you look wider there. You can go for V-necks to draw the eye down and slim the upper torso, but also look for a regular fit in the waist. Don't go for anything too skinny to the midsection. You actually want something that hangs looser. So this denim shirt is a great fabric for that. And then just to look at the mix of colours and print that you can use, I would go for darker, simpler top half and actually lighter, brighter pattern if you feel like it, something a bit more interesting and detailed around the midsection and on the lower half. That will therefore create the illusion of bulk on the lower half of the body, make you look in proportion and draw the eye where you want it to be drawn to. Okay, so I've covered a lot on tips and tricks. There's quite a lot to take in, but I want you to think about the body shape that you think you are. Think about the proportion of your shape and then think about the lines of the clothes that you currently have and where maybe fabric might be working for you, where print might be working for you, and trying to create that balanced silhouette as much as you can. For dressing well for your shape, It goes hand in hand with feeling comfortable. And I've just got a slide here to show you on some more specific challenges that we found people are going through and how we can help you with that to feel you're most confident. So you might be experiencing swelling. Lymphedema happens to a lot of people, water retention, it happens. You don't want to be restricting your body at a time when you're maybe carrying that extra swelling and water. So choose fabrics with movement, avoid tight trousers and wear loose sleeve tops and sweaters. So it's about taking that balance of dressing well for your body shape, but choosing the fabrics that mean you can move. The more comfortable you are, the better. If you're experiencing hot flushes, wear thin layers that you can remove when the heat strikes. So it's natural fabrics that are more breathable and help temperature control. So I'm looking at cottons and linens and viscose and rayons and wools. All of these fabrics are worth investing in. So it's less about the polyesters and the poly mixes that sometimes mean your skin doesn't feel like it can breathe. So maybe you've never thought of this before, but I'm just pulling out the things that I want you to start looking at. Look at those fabric labels. It's actually about investing in the clothes that work really well for you and finding the things in your wardrobe that make you feel more comfortable. If you do wear a stomach bag, wearing a vest over the top can keep it flat and in place, and then wear a looser top over the top, which skims around that area. And also think about prints as a camouflage. Tops that have movement, but don't make you feel like they're going to cling, are going to make all the difference. And if you do have any mobility issues, there are brands out there that really help with fastening. So you can see here this shirt, it looks like it's a button-through shirt, is actually Velcro. So if you need any tips on which brands to go to, there are brands out there that help with mobility issues and actually can make you feel like yourself and actually not feel self-conscious, but is really much easier to get on and off. The same for the trousers, they can pull on and you don't have to fiddle with any of the fastenings. So especially relevant for lockdown, periods of rest, if you are home a lot, a tip that we're sharing with everyone is looking good helps us feel good. So try to get properly dressed as often as you can. Even if that is changing out of pajamas into loungewear or gym wear, something that makes you feel comfortable. It's about making those conscious choices of what you put on, and it will really help your mood. So as I said right at the start about trying to not think about how we were in the past or how we are going to be in the future, in the present, how do you want to feel? We can wake up some days, put all the first thing that we want to just feel comfortable in, but actually by taking 10-15 minutes to actually look through the wardrobe, pulling out some outfits that make you feel good, dress for how you want to feel, not for how you might feel first thing in the morning, especially if you're in pain, especially if you've got a tough day ahead of you, maybe you're heading to an appointment. Trying to make you feel good as much as we can, as much of the time is the aim. So before I move on to step 2, I said that there was a lot, and I've been through about half an hour of lots of body shape tips and tricks. I just want to take a breather. I want to take a breath before we move on to step 2. This is the point where you've probably been scribbling down lots of notes about your body shape, all the tips and tricks about lines and pockets and colour and print. But at the end of step 1, I'd just like to take a moment, take a drink, make sure you're nice and comfortable. Think about writing down a positive about your body. Which part do you think you want to draw the eye to? Which part do you want to focus on? Maybe you are, really proud of your upper half. Maybe you feel like, actually, I want to bring out my eyes more. I know it's a big ask, and until you're actually asked that question, can you write down for me now a positive or a focus on your body, something that you're proud of, that you want to focus on when getting dressed? And I'm just going to give you a few moments to think about that. Okay. So I'm now going to move on to step 2, which is colour. But before we even dive into colour, I want you to think about how you feel about colour in general. Which colours do you like to wear? Are there colours that are just a big no-no to you that you would never even try? because colour makes a huge impact psychologically. So I feel like I can't do a workshop like this without touching on colour analysis. I sometimes, to give you an idea, can spend about 2 hours with one person talking about colour analysis and how they can incorporate colour into their life and their wardrobe and really feel the benefit of it. So everyone has a palette of colours which complements your own colouring. You're thinking, what? What's all this on the screen? So I've broken it down into 4 seasons. What that means is each palette of colours, one of them will be your most complementary seasonal palette. Wearing the right colours for you can even out complexion, it can smooth lines and wrinkles, it can whiten the eyes and the teeth, it can boost your mood, it provides a positive impression to others, and it can make you feel and look healthier. So that's huge, right? That's a lot on colour. It's a big expectation here. But it absolutely makes such a big difference in your well-being. It's not about a colour that you can't wear. There's no colour that's off limits. It's not about meaning you have to wear colour head to toe. It doesn't mean that you can't ever wear black. What it means is in each palette, spring, summer, autumn or winter, it's the whole spectrum of colours, but there's a certain tone and depth that will complement you more than other colours. The more you wear the colours that suit you, the more you'll feel all of those benefits that I've just listed. So it's really, really key to find which seasonal palette fits your colourings most, because that will enhance the features that you have. It's broken down into 4 seasonal palettes, and spring and autumn, they are warm base palettes, and summer and winter are your cool base palettes. If you have a warm yellow undertone to your skin, you will automatically fall into a spring or an autumnal palette, because what that does is takes the warmth and the yellow undertone of your skin. They will be in the base of these colours that you wear and therefore work with your complexion really well. If you have a cool red undertone, you will fall into a summer or a winter palette. So straight away, by process of elimination, if you can look in the mirror and think, which skin undertone am I? You will fall into warm or cool. Everyone does. That is given for everyone. There are factors that influence which season you are, such as the skin tone, as I've mentioned, eye colour, and sometimes hair. But we take hair out of the equation quite a lot of the time. You may have lost your hair. Your hair might be growing back after treatment. You might find that hair colour has changed over time. I try not to focus too much on the hair colour. It's more about the skin tone and eye colour. The colour you wear around your face on the neckline has the biggest impact, because that colour that you wear around here is going to reflect into your face. And that's where you see the difference in terms of how healthy you look, the wrinkles, the any hyperpigmentation you might have. So I'm here today to talk to you about the 4 seasons, help you determine which of those 4 seasons you are. So I hope at this time, at the start of step 2, you're thinking, how do I feel about colour? I don't really like wearing colour. I like wearing colours. I know which colours suit me. Think about colour now, and then I'm going to ask you at the end to do a small task and see how you feel once I've talked you through it. So start to think about, which colouring do you identify with? Do any of these famous people on this screen look anything like you? Do you feel like you could identify with one of those? And I'm going to talk you through the 4 seasons in more detail. But just to start with, think about warm and cool, because straight away you can fall into either side. Starting off with the spring palette. In the UK, I do work globally, but in the UK, I see spring palette more often than not. You might find that you have lighter red auburn hair, eyebrows. You might have freckled skin. You might have a high contrast and pronounced features. So if you are a spring, you are a warm undertone. So if anyone in the group is saying, nodding, yeah, I've got a yellow warm undertone, but are you spring or autumn? The difference is, a spring person will have very high pronounced features in their face. You can see the eyebrows, very strong, maybe a stronger cheekbone, tend to be fairer overall in colouring, but have that high contrast in your features. You will have a clear brightness to your complexion. And that is what the spring palette offers. It offers all colours of the spectrum, as I mentioned, but a spring palette has a clearer, more defined punchiness to its palette. So if you think about spring as a season, it's when all the daffodils are coming out. You can think about bright green grass. It's very clear and bright. That will enhance your complexion if you are a spring season. Next is your summer. So if you are a summer, you are a cool undertone, but you have very soft features. You see the people here, the soft features mean that if you wear harsh colours like blacks and greys, it actually just washes out the complexion. It doesn't enhance what's already there. But I tend to see very ashy, light brown or blonde hair, blue, grey, brown eyes, very soft features, still with that blue undertone. If you think about the end of summer when everything's been bleached out. So you can see here, wearing those more pastel summer shades in the first and third image that are on the screen, it's really enhancing the complexion. It's bringing out the colour of the eyes, but it's really soft. So it's a cool undertone, soft features. If you're in autumn, we're back to a warm undertone. If you think about the season of autumn being about the rich leaves, colour changing to browns and oranges and rusts and really rich colours. So you might be thinking, I am a warm undertone, I am a yellow undertone like the springs were, but the difference is an autumn person will have much softer features. You'll have those warm undertones, but less definition. So therefore the deep, rich colours of the autumnal palette really work with you. So you can see the khakis here really working. So Hugh Jackman, he's working with his colourings here. The richness of that green work really well. It doesn't jar. You're not looking at the colour before you're looking at his face. He's adding colour and richness to his complexion rather than wearing colours that are just going to drain the colour from his face. And also not wearing like Eddie Redmayne here. He's wearing, you know, really dark black colours in the last image. And actually his features are very soft. You want to work with those features. So the brown, just by switching neutrals from black to brown, it can really enhance who you are and make sure people are seeing you and not overpowered by your clothing. And then finally, the winters. So again, you can wear any colour on the spectrum, but the winter has a very high contrast in their features. And if you think about wintertime being quite stark, when there's obviously, you know, think about the light at that time of year. So the tone is very, very strong. There's a blue, cool undertone, but you'll have bright, unmarked skin. So therefore, someone like Tom Cruise, he's very much can wear black. If you can pull off black, you will be within the winter because it's quite stark and high contrast. But that works really well and it's quite bold for their complexion. If a winter was to wear these softer greys, these pastel colours, these autumnal greens, they don't make the skin look nice and bright and clear as it should. So black and purple really pop. It's those jewel tones. So you can see here that I've talked to you through each season. Before I do, I'm just going to take a moment to say, which season do you think you are? And write down what that season is. If you're not sure, then remember, you can, by process of elimination, you can define between summer and winter being cool and spring and autumn being cool. Then what my task would be for you to do after today's session is to get a mirror at home in natural daylight. Do it first thing in the morning if you can. And what you want to do is take some colours of clothes that you've got in your wardrobe, maybe a scarf or a t-shirt. But what you'll do is you'll put that colour up to your chest and you'll look in the mirror and you'll take an autumnal colour. So think of those rich shades that are kind of khakis and rusts and oranges. What does it do to your complexion? Does it add too much yellow? Does it make your features look a bit murky and not really, your eyes aren't popping? And then you can swap it for a punchier, bright spring. I'm just going to come off share a second before. Hi. And what I want you to do is think about that colour. Is it enhancing what's there? Do the whites of your eyes pop? Or is it too overpowering? The more you can get to grips with which colours are really suiting you, you'll find the colour palette that works. You can buy those palettes online. So once you do know your palette, you can use them to reference. But the more you experiment with it, the more you'll get closer to the colours that work for you. It's a difference when someone says, wow, you look really well today. And you'll be thinking, why is that? And it's quite often due to the colour that you're wearing. Also, it means when we touch on shopping later on, you'll be walking into a shop and discounting half of that shop straight away because it won't be the colours that work for you. So if you can try and define that colour season, it can really make a difference to how you feel, how people perceive you, but also really helps to shop for the colours. So step 3. So the next step is I've taught you all of the kind of theory behind body shape and colour and how to think about what you're wearing and the impact it has. But obviously at this point, it'd be really good to look at your current wardrobe. And is your wardrobe serving you well? Do you have a combination of outfits that do make you look good and feel better for it? It might be that actually you're feeling a bit deflated with your wardrobe. You don't like shopping. You've just had these clothes for a long time. They're not really fitting very well. Maybe they're too big or too small. And you're just really not sure whether you need to go and buy something new. And also, if you're going through treatment, you might decide, actually, I don't want to spend money on new clothes. What if I change? So what I've tried to do in this step is to look at your existing wardrobe and work with what you've got as much as you can. I'm never, as a stylist, it's a bit of a misconception. I am never here to say, you need to go and buy all of these things. You need to spend all this money. That is never my aim. It's about bringing it down to you, who you are, helping you take the steps to express who you are to your clothes, feel good, but always, always, always working with what you've got. It might be a case of pairing things differently within your wardrobe. So rather than always putting that particular favorite shirt with those particular trousers, it might be about mixing it up and changing things after stay. But to help you with that process, you can't really do that without looking at what's already there. So my caveat to this is pick a day where your energy levels are good. Because once you start, you'll be thinking, what have I done? Why have I started this? But it's about getting organised. It's about looking at what you've got, taking stock. It's like an audit, a wardrobe edit or wardrobe audit, whatever you want to call it. But take everything in your existing wardrobe and try it on. It might have been sitting there for a while. It may not fit you anymore. It may not be who you are. It might be something it might be sentimental. Maybe you wore it to a really special occasion. You don't want to part with it. Remove anything from your wardrobe that you just don't wear. It doesn't fit anymore. You don't feel good in it. When you put something on and you look in the mirror, you'll know the difference. It's those clothes that you put on, you hold your shoulders back, you look side to side, you think, yeah, I feel like me in this. That's your benchmark that you want to aim for as much as you can. If you're putting something on and it's making you slouch, or you're pulling or you're tugging, or you don't feel good in it, question, does it have a place in your wardrobe? If something is sentimental to you, maybe you wore it at a time and it brings back great memories, but it's taking up space in your wardrobe and you're not actually going to wear it day to day, then my advice would be to store it. So you can get a box with tissue paper, store it somewhere else in your wardrobe, under the bed. You're not parting with that memory, but maybe it doesn't have a place in your day-to-day wardrobe, because my aim for you is to open up that wardrobe and think, I've got lots of things ready to go that make me feel good. So remove anything, doesn't fit, doesn't make you feel good. It might be that you end up with a more pared back wardrobe, but that's okay. Less is actually sometimes more when it comes to a wardrobe edit. Then it's time to organise your wardrobe so you can actually see where everything is. I think that just makes us all have some clarity that we need. So my suggestion would be to group all the shirts together. It might be you group all your workwear together if you have a different work and weekend wardrobe. So during the week, you might go to your shirts and your formal trousers. Maybe you're more relaxed at the weekend, but try and group things together. So when you are pulling things out, you can see how many of that style trouser you've got. You can see how many of that shirt you've got. look after your clothes and then they will last. So the more organized you are, you can have knitwear folded if that allows. You can buy these great hangers that are really great for keeping trousers well looked after, but also save space. A lint roller is a really good, useful thing to have. A knitwear comb. So look after your wardrobe, look after your clothes, and actually I think you'll feel better in your clothes because you feel like they actually are of more value to you. And then review, look at what is left in your wardrobe. Do these clothes meet your needs right now? And identify the gaps in order to complete outfits and suit your current lifestyle. So if you find you've got 10 blue shirts, that's great. But the next time you go and buy a blue shirt, I would question, do you need another blue shirt? Are you getting bored of your wardrobe for that reason? Maybe it's time to try something a bit different. Or you're thinking, well, I've got lots of shirts, but I've only got 2 or 3 trousers that actually fit me. Then you're more focused on what does your wardrobe need? What do you need to go out there? Where are the gaps? Or maybe you have a jacket that you feel great in and you love, but you don't actually wear it very much because you haven't got other things to go with it. So it's trying to help you create a list of items to shop for. And it could be that maybe at the moment you're in a period of rest, but you've got all of your work clothes just sitting there ready to be worn again when you're back out into the world a bit more. Then maybe you do need to invest in some loungewear or some casual wear that replicates who you were when you were out in the world of work, but you can still feel like you at home. A tip from me would be to look for some inspiration if you're not sure where to go. So there's a great app called Pinterest. I'm not sure how many of you will know it. It's quite a female-centric app, but there's no reason for that because it is an amazing source of imagery. You can type in lots of different search terms of style, men's fashion, style over 50, how to wear blue jeans, and it has so many great resources. It might show you an outfit to go, oh, well, I've got jeans like that. I could buy a top. And it just gives you an idea of how to pair things. And actually, it's very, very visual, which I think in this kind of step of the process, step 3, keeping it visual, go into magazines, maybe you look online, find someone's style that you identify with really well and think, well, I really like how he dressed. Could you replicate any of those outfits? So step 3 is all about taking stock of where you are and what you have. And I love this quote, guys don't need a lot of choices, they need the right choices. So I think I couldn't cover this section off without going down the line of capsule wardrobe. It's a bit of a buzz phrase, you may have heard of it. People are like, what is this? What's a capsule wardrobe? It's essentially giving you clarity and focus within your wardrobe and what you wear. It's a collection of core classic items that you will always wear. You can mix and match, but it also shows off your personality. The reason why you'll always wear them is they won't go in and out of fashion. As I said, today is not about trends. If there's a trend that comes along that suits your personality, it suits your body shape, I'm all for it. But for me, it's about encapsulating your personality in what you wear and keeping true to your own personal style and dressing well for your shape. If you strive for a capsule wardrobe, it helps you focus on quality and investment. So I work with people from all walks of life, and budget isn't necessarily something that has to hinder you to have a capsule wardrobe. Where you do want to invest in an item, this is where you do though, because it will be in your wardrobe forever. But having confidence to say, I know who I am now, I know what my body shape is, I know which colours work for me, I'm going to have a pared back wardrobe with lots of clothes that make me feel good, that can work for all occasions, then maybe it's worth investing in the quality investment of fabrics and cut so that then you will always wear that item. So I've got a task for you after today. So for step 3, your task is to review your wardrobe. When you've got good energy levels, go through your wardrobe edit. But then I've got 15 wardrobe heroes that I think every man should have in their wardrobe. And they don't have to be specific in terms of style or age or lifestyle, but every man can find their version of this capsule wardrobe that suits them. But how many of these can you tick off, I wonder? These 15 wardrobe heroes will see you through all occasions at any time. So it's a classic suit in a grey or navy. If you have a suit that's two pieces that can mix and match, you could wear that suit jacket with more relaxed trousers. You could wear those smart trousers, more relaxed. There's so many options here, but just having it in a really neutral colour like a grey or navy can be really useful. But remember that when I say grey or navy, refer back to your colour palettes. Is it going to be a grey tone that's got a warm base, or is it going to be a grey tone that's got a cool base? So you can still have a grey suit, but if you work within your seasonal palette, again, it's going to bring all of today's elements together. A smart button-down shirt in white. You could dress this up, dress it down, wear it with jeans, wear it with trousers, slim fit jeans in a dark wash. I tend to direct, a lot of men ask me about jeans, a slim fit, not a skinny fit, in a dark wash. If you find a denim brand that works for you, you do not need to keep searching. But go into a department store, try lots of things on, find those, if you are a jeans wearer, that is obviously, find a fit that works for you in a dark wash. And basic t-shirts in grey, navies, creams, you can see here, there's a multi-pack. These are all items that I feel that will work for lots of different things. Neutral knit jumpers, a standalone blazer that's a bit more relaxed, chinos, a boot. You don't have to lift off these exact styles. It's about you finding the styles that work for you, but these are classic core items that everyone has in their wardrobe. Then you'll never not have something to wear. So after today, your task will be, how many of your 15 wardrobe heroes can you tick off in your current wardrobe? Okay, I'm just going to give a moment there. I hope that's got you thinking about rummaging through your wardrobe and doing the edit. But step 4 is like the kind of missing link at this stage. We've done shape, we've done colour, we're looking at what your wardrobe is. But the biggest thing when you're building your wardrobe, your capsule wardrobe, if you can define your style identity, sometimes referred to as style personality, every single item of your clothes is going to work specifically for you. It's all about working for you to make you feel better. The key to consistently great style is finding out your identity, expressing who you are, and it enhances who you are. And you're thinking, what? I've never thought about style identity before. Today is your chance to sit down and think about who you are as a person. What does your personality say about you? Do you express yourselves through your clothes? Can you describe your sense of style in 3 words? So before we run through this step, I'm going to take a breath and ask you all to write down, 3 words to describe your style. This might be a tough task for some of you, this might be easy for others, but then I'm going to ask you to do it again after the next slide, and hopefully I've made it a bit easier for you. But think about your lifestyle, your career, your personality, and see how this might translate. Is there anyone's style you admire? Does that help you? So I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes now to write down 3 words to describe your sense of style. Okay. I'm itching to know how you all found that, because until you actually get asked the question, I think it's something subconscious. It's something you don't always sit down to do. So today is definitely encouraging you to sit down and actually take that chance to think about what you want your style to say about you. And now I've got a great slide, which I love sharing. It's about questioning who you are and what do you want your style to say about you. So are you casual and sporty? These are some great words to describe your style. And casual sporty doesn't have to mean head to toe gym wear. It doesn't have to mean wearing a tracksuit, but you might feel more like yourself when wearing more casual, relaxed clothing. And as you can see here, you can get some inspiration from online, from magazines, from blogs. How do people put together a casual outfit that feels like you, but still looks really considered? And it's about elevating your style. It's about not grabbing the sporty grey joggers that maybe are sagging a bit because they've been worn to death. It might be about wearing a bit more of a tapered jogging trouser. It might be about layering up your hoodie with a smarter single-breasted peacoat. Maybe you've never done that before, but it still encapsulates your style identity as someone who is more casual and sporty, but you might be able to refresh your wardrobe and wear it in a new way. But that is who you are. That's the essence of who you are. You like wearing a relaxed silhouette, then that's who you are. When you're buying something new, if you were to go and buy something that was really formal, it probably won't get a lot of wear. It might be fine for a one-off event, but it's not who you want to express yourself as. It could be that you identify more as someone who's trendy and edgy. Maybe you do keep up to date with more current trends. Maybe you do like those edgier fabrics like the suedes and the leathers, and you'll wear a biker. You might actually be quite open to wearing new silhouettes and trying different cuts and fabrics. You might experiment with the brands that you wear, but that is who you are, and that is part of your personality that you can express through a more trendy edginess to what you wear. You wouldn't feel comfortable, for instance, going down the formal classic route. Maybe you're looking at those formal classic images now and thinking, oh, I wouldn't feel like myself in it. So that's why I've put some visuals up that I'm going to keep this slide up for a good few minutes, because I want you to start thinking about, where is your eye drawn to? Which area of this slide feels right for you? Are you more formal classic? Are you looking at that thinking, yeah, that's what I want my wardrobe to be? So you will always look pulled together. You will probably feel more comfortable in a structured blazer. You will quite often wear a fine knit and a classic white shirt. That feels right to you. And I would describe your style identity as a more formal classic style. Maybe you're very minimal and reserved. Maybe you like no fussy details, no print. Maybe you like a silhouette that is nice and tapered and slim fit, but not going to overpower your frame. Maybe you like muted colours. Maybe you like to stick to those neutral colours. That will be more of a minimal reserved style. So therefore, I'm never going to push you towards something you're not. I'm trying to hone in on who you are and what does your style say about you. Once you've touched on that, it absolutely helps you with every decision you make going forward in shopping for your wardrobe, which styles are working for you in your current wardrobe, how you're going to dress for your shape. Or maybe you are a creative, artistic, bohemian person. Maybe your job calls for something to be very artistic. And maybe that means you want to express that through your clothes. Maybe you need to add those interesting prints. You want to draw the eye. You're quite bold in your personality. You may be more outgoing. So there's just 2 words here for each of these, but you could add in the 3rd word to be more about your personality as well. Think about who you are. Are you quite outgoing? Are you quite shy? Do you like to stand out? Do you want to be more of a wolf? Like, what is it about you that makes you you? And then your clothes can be an extension of that. So I'm just going to keep this slide up for a few seconds. I'd like you to now try and refine that task of describe your style in 3 words. Hopefully this has helped you. Maybe you found it really hard at the start. Maybe this has helped you hone in a bit more on who you are. Or maybe it's changed. Maybe the 3 words you came up with at the start, this has now changed things. So now I want you to do that task again. Can you try again? Describe your style in 3 words. Okay. So that's your style identity. It evolves over time. The more you get to know it, the more empowered you and confident you will feel knowing who you are, sticking to who you are. And that is the key to consistently great style, because the more you incorporate that into every outfit, you'll get a consistency to your wardrobe. So I'm going to move on to the 5th step, which is all about shopping and where and how to approach it. So I hope I've inspired some of you today to look at your wardrobe, think about your style identity. You might be ready to shop for a few new items in your wardrobe. I don't know how you feel about shopping. We did some great surveys and research with Look Good, Feel Better to see how people actually felt about shopping. And actually, I feel like we have this misconception that maybe men don't like to shop, but actually I think men shop in their own way. It might be that you don't shop very often. You might only shop once or twice a year. But I think this approach to shopping, taking on board everything that I've shared with you today, will ensure that what you're putting back into your wardrobe and what you're choosing will be outfits that you wear over and over and over. And you might only need to go shopping twice a year. So I would encourage you to consider a new approach when it comes to shopping. Go out with a list. So if you've done your wardrobe edit, you've made all the notes today on how to dress for your shape. Maybe you don't have a jacket that gives you that structure in the shoulders that you need. Maybe you don't have the straight leg pair of trousers that I've mentioned, whatever it might be. But going out with a list helps you focus. Or it could be you're shopping online. So I kind of see that more and more. Some people feel great about shopping online because they know which brands they like. They go to that brand, they shop, they order. Some people hate shopping online because it's a minefield. If you are feeling like that, go to a department store, go and lean on the support of the staff that work there. There's lots of brands in one place. So rather than walking up and down the high street thinking, I don't want to go into that brand, I've never walked in that shop before, or rather than going online, I don't know what to search for, don't know where to shop. Department stores are great for seeing a cross section of brands that maybe you've never touched on before. And actually going in the fitting room, trying things on is a great way to start finding new brands and shapes. So go with your list. And when choosing something new, you're thinking, one, does it suit my shape? Is it working with the proportions that I have? So depending on whether you have a disproportion or you are balanced, you'll start to know which shapes and which lines of shapes are you looking for. Is the colour from my palette? So has it got a warm undertone? Has it got a cool undertone? Does it overpower my features? Or does it work with my features? And three, am I staying true to my style identity? So think back to that slide about all of the different identities that we covered. Because the more you do that, it's about shopping savvy and shopping smart and making sure that every item has a place in your wardrobe and it's not just going to be a waste of money. It's not just going to sit there taking up space. Get to know the brands that work well for your shape and learn the differences. And there are some differences across different style brand handwriting. So US brands tend to be cut wider and boxier, which is great for the oval rounded shape. The European brands tend to be narrow and shorter because that's right for their market. So that's really great for, say, the rectangle shape. So get to know which brands work really well for you. Also, there will be seasonal changes, obviously, as trends come through. But when you find a brand that works for you, that brand has a handwriting. So it tends to have a certain, is it a regular cut around the midsection for any triangles that are out there? Or do they always cut their polo shirts really slim in the waist? That's not going to be a brand for you. So find the brands that work really well. Also think about buying a complete outfit or complete outfits with items you already own. So my challenge to you is next time you buy something, have you got 3 things already in your wardrobe that it goes with? So maybe you have a good selection of jeans and trousers and chinos, but you're going to buy some new tops. That's fine. You'll have things to go with. But if you don't, try and buy the whole outfit so you don't have singular items. And that's where we refer back to the capsule wardrobe that mixes and matches really well. So why not challenge yourself to shop for 3 items which will create new outfits in your wardrobe? So that's a task for you to take away from today, because I think that's a really good starting point. Just choosing 3 new items and thinking, how can I create some new outfits? It gets you thinking about everything we've learned today, and it actually breaks it down into just finding 3 outfits. As I said, you don't need lots, you just need the right choices. So I feel like that's a really good approach for shopping. Also, I've got another slide to share with you, a starting point. So it can feel quite overwhelming. You don't have to change your wardrobe head to toe, but a starting point for shopping. One small step we know can lead to big change. Shopping for new accessories can make a big difference. You might be thinking, accessories, men, do I really need accessories? Think of your clothes as the backdrop for adding and layering accessories too. They will elevate elevate and define your style. So you might be someone who feels very comfortable wearing tonal head to toe colors. You might find that you like very simple outfits, but you might be feeling a bit uninspired. Accessories are great for adding that touch of personality. And also you can keep your outfits very simple and classic, but then you can add in a splash of interest, and it changes it up depending on the occasion or the event or the day that you're having. So it could be a tie, bright socks, a textured bag, a printed pocket square instead of a plain one, or finishing a look with jewelry or even a hat. And also this is a great way of injecting color and print, which we were talking about, boosting the mood, incorporating color. This is a really simple, and it's also less of a commitment rather than changing your look head to toe. Accessories are interchangeable. So the next time you are looking at updating your wardrobe, could it be adding in a scarf in something a bit more interesting rather than going for the same black or navy wool scarf? Could you look for a check? Could you look for a color in the bag? Could you layer up? So if you were to get a lighter weight jacket in, say, a green or blue or a brighter color, you can layer it with your more neutral tones, because it just has to be a flash of color. And it's about expressing who you are with those pops of color. Also here in the far corner, it doesn't necessarily mean wearing bright yellow socks under your navy blue suit. It could just be a case of maybe choose a new bag. Maybe your style identity means you want to be more classic and formal. So maybe you want a more structured bag. You don't want to be wearing a big slouchy across the body bag because it doesn't fit with your style identity. Or maybe you wear your neutral navy hat in the winter, but you add a flash of colour in your scarf. Or maybe if it's a more formal occasion, you add a flash of the pocket square, or even in the belts. So just adding in those pops of accessories, either adding colour or print, or look at the shape of the bag that you use, or look at the way that you layer up. That's a really small way of making big changes in your wardrobe, and a really good starting point. And as I touched on, expand on your brand directory. So build up your own directory of which shops you enjoy shopping in, which ones cater well for your body shape and your style identity. Where do you feel at home? Where do you feel that actually they cater for who I am? Don't be afraid to try somewhere new. Would you know where to start? So that's why this grid at the back that you can see is something that I put together for some of the clients that I work with. I cover all areas, whether it be suiting or shirts. I look at size, I look at budget. I can give suggestions of brands, and sometimes these are brands that people have never heard of. Don't be afraid to try somewhere new, and don't be intimidated to try somewhere new. But once you find the shops that work really well for you, then there's no problem with staying with them. Browse online if you're not sure, or in store at a new brand each season. Try items on, compare the sizing, get a feel for the brand handwriting, and build up your go-to brand list. Because what that will do is mean that you're complementing each item that you're adding into your wardrobe. I want you to gain some confidence with shopping for who you are. And then just to kind of wrap up, because I can see that we're coming up to about 11:30. I've talked a lot today. I've given you a lot of information. I've just got a few more minutes to talk to you about body confidence and style, and where you can take it from today and beyond. And then if anyone's got any questions, then we'll stay on, and I can try and answer any individual questions. But also, if you need to get in touch afterwards, then I'll do my best to help you and support you. Embracing your shape after today is reframing how you feel about your body and redefining your assets that you like and working with what you have. So remembering right the way back to step one, when I asked you to write something down about something you were proud of or an asset that you have, that's what I want you to focus on. That's where we'll start to silence the inner critic. Draw the eye to where you want people to see your most favoured asset. And remember, the fit is absolutely everything. It's the difference between looking good and could do better. It has the power to make budget or high street pieces look superior. So one of the tips I give to all of my clients, if you invest in an item of clothing and you really love it, but maybe the sleeve is slightly too long, maybe it could come in a bit more at the waist, find yourself a really good tailor. If you alter your clothes, and it's another 10, 15 pounds on top of what you spent, but then that's something you wear all the time is actually a really great investment, because fit is everything. And it is sometimes just as simple as taking up the sleeve. It could be taking in the body shape. It might be just tailoring your trousers slightly so they taper in at the ankle. Consider wearing your optimum colours, which will make you look your best and give you a mood boost. Experiment with colour, pattern and accessories to show off your style identity. So that's where you can bring to life who you are. Edit that wardrobe. Remove what doesn't fit, you don't wear, or it's worn out. Identify then the gaps in your wardrobe and add key pieces to make your existing wardrobe work really hard. Have fun with your clothes and bring out your personality through what you wear. So as I touched on, I see personal style as a useful tool. There are many that can create your holistic approach to well-being. So it's not just about grooming and beauty. It's not about thinking about your mental health, what you need to do to stay mentally in a good place. It's not just about the benefit of nutrition and exercise. It's all of those things. But personal style is definitely a crucial part of that as well. So bringing all those elements together can actually really help you where you are at your current stage, but also your journey in the future. So a combination of self-care, investing your time and energy into what makes you feel and look good, is about prioritizing your well-being and help you work on the best version of yourself and lead your way to confidence. So it isn't necessarily overnight. It's about bringing all the elements together and then over time taking a kind of stock check. So do some of these exercises that I've prompted you today, do them again, try them again in a month's time, try them in 3 months' time, maybe even a year down the line, because I know you're all on your own individual journey on where you are in your self-care and treatment and how you feel about yourself right now. But taking those few moments to think about what is working for me, what do I feel good in? I wore that outfit the other day, someone really complimented me and I felt good in it, I held myself really well. That's what you want to aim for as much as possible. So I've wrapped up quite quickly with a lot. There will be time for questions. I know that Sarah wants to talk, a bit more about accessing Look Good, Feel Better. That we've worked on the services that we've offered in the last 6 to 12 months online post-pandemic. So I am going to be on here. It's just gone 11:30 and we do have until about 12, I believe. I'll hand you over to Sarah now, but I hope you really enjoyed this next step of discovering who you are and feeling as good about yourself as much as you can. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. That was absolutely incredible. I hope everybody enjoyed that. And I'm sure you would join me in not only thanking Charlotte, but agreeing that she is just an absolute wealth of knowledge in her field. So thank you so much. It's really, really good. So I mean, I don't want to keep you too long because I would imagine you've got a few questions for Charlotte, and there is some questions in the Q&A that I know she'll want to answer. But really, I guess piggybacking on what Charlotte has just said in the end there, and thinking about your well-being and self-care as a whole unit, and this being a part of it, there is also a lot that we can do to support. I'm just going to pop in the chat box, as long as that's all right, David, the link to the website. Please have a little look at your leisure, but just in a nutshell, to give you an idea of what we can do to support as well as the workshop today. We've got the virtual skincare and grooming workshop. Now, some of you may have accessed that on Friday, when I know that we did join you with the shave doctor, Mark Sproston, to do a little bit of a show and tell on what that workshop's all about. But basically, we just help you to look after your skin, look at some of the challenges that you may be facing in terms of changes to skin through treatment, through diagnosis. It can have quite a detrimental effect on the skin, both on the face and on the body, and we know that. So we give you lots of top tips on how to combat that. Lots of shaving techniques and tips on how to be the most effective, but more importantly, the most hygienic when you're shaving and when you're grooming, because obviously that is of optimum importance if you are still going through treatment. But we've also added some really, really great additional sessions to our calendar, which is you've got chair Pilates, and you've got intermediate, and you've got beginners. And you might think, oh my God, Pilates is just not for me. I know Charlotte mentioned earlier that lots of these things we do feel are quite female driven, but that tends to be organic, not something that is or not something that should be the case. And Pilates is an incredible workshop to be able to help with things like strength, balance. If you've had surgery or if you've been left with mobility issues, it can be really, really great to help bring a little bit of that back, but in a really mindful way. And it's also very relaxing, so it can be great for the mind and the body at the same time. We've got Tai Chi, Chair Tai Chi, which is hard to say, Chair Tai Chi, which again is brilliant. And that tends to be probably a little bit more martial arts based. I feel like I need to do the actions than what Pilates is, but again, along a similar vein. And you've got yoga to add to that as well. And we've also just added a meditation and breath workshop. Now, this is really incredible. Whether you're somebody who has embraced meditation in the past or whether you haven't, it's just amazing to help you relax, to help release anxiety from the mind and from the body. Until you do it, I'm not a person that had ever really focused on meditation. It wasn't something that I actively used to be involved in. I used to actively do. And we sat in on this workshop and I was absolutely blown away just how much clearing the mind, because I've always thought meditation would be boring because you're just sitting there doing anything. And it's an amazing way to, once the mind's clear, to realize the effect that has on the body. And I don't think until you do meditation, I don't think you realize the effect that anxiety can have on your actual physical well-being as well as your mental. So it's really amazing. And they're all great to be able to access with, if you want to have your video off, you can do that. You can just sit and be involved in the background, or you can have your video on, you can be interactive and ask some questions, however you want to participate. But please do take a little bit of time, once you've processed everything from today, because Charlotte has gone through a whole host of information today. Once you've processed that, do have a little look on the website and just have a look at what else that we can offer to support the whole vein of I guess, well-being and self-care. So that really is it from me, from that perspective. So I guess, Charlotte, any questions? I know we have got some in the chat.
Yeah.
I don't know if David, you want Charlotte to just answer these?
So I've got some great questions that have come up on the Q&A, which I'd love to go through now. So we did earmark this part of the presentation today to go through some questions. There's some great ones that come up. So I'm happy to work through those now. And if anyone else on the group wants to jump on there and thinks of anything, then now's the time. Okay.
Yeah, no, Charlotte, just to reiterate, so could you just, because everyone can't see those questions, could you just read out the question for everyone, and then you can answer it, but just so everyone is aware of what you're answering would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've had some fantastic questions here. So why white trainers, when to wear and with what? So with regards to the white trainers being on the Capsule Wardrobe list, they are there purely because it's an absolute classic. And in terms of why white trainers, it gives you that neutral shoe that's always going to go with lots of different things, but it also contrasts really nicely. If you're wearing rich navies and khakis and greys, that pop of white trainer keeps it looking really nice and fresh, but it's just incredibly neutral. But also a white trainer, especially in a plimp sole style, it kind of crosses over in that kind of smart casual realm that I know a lot of people feel quite daunted by. It's more of a shoe and a trainer. Whereas if you go for, say, a darker shoe, it's not necessarily going to give you that pop of contrast that I usually look for when putting outfits together. It's not to say you have to wear white trainers. It's a suggestion of a capsule wardrobe item that will be so classic and will go with lots of different things and will look great, whether it's with a formal trouser or a casual pair of jeans. In terms of when to wear and with what, a classic white trainer, if you go for a classic style that's quite neutral, leather it will literally go with everything. You can wear it jeans, you can wear it chinos, you can wear it suit trousers. I think there's been like a real shift in the last couple of years of that kind of high-low dressing that I see, where maybe some of you are thinking, I would never pair a trainer with a smart trouser. But it's about now giving that kind of smart casual element that actually you can mix and match. I mean, it depends on the event, obviously. If you're being asked to go to an event that warrants a suit, then I would say definitely put it with a smart shoe. But if you're going to something and you want to have that smart casual element, then by all means, pairing a white trainer with what would otherwise be quite formal. It's the same with wearing a t-shirt rather than a shirt under a suit. It's a really nice way to actually just do that high-low dressing and bring it down a few notches without feeling too formal and too done up. So a white trainer can literally go with nearly everything. But what I would say is go for a style that is completely neutral. It's not sporty. Go for something that is more of a shoe, and then it will be something that can mix and match. So I hope that has helped. Another question I've had is it likely that we could be a mix of shapes and colour palettes, which is really, really interesting. My answer is on the shape element, you might find maybe you're veering towards one or the other. And that's why I put the body quiz in there to try and help you define it as much as possible. You could be slightly across two shapes, depending on whether your weight is fluctuating. But essentially, if you think about it, everyone has a bone structure. You will know whether your shoulders are in line with your hips. That's not going to change too much. Your weight might go up and down. Also, as you age, you might find that your weight is distributed differently. So it's about checking in and remembering those elements of body shape. So if, for instance, you felt like, oh, I do carry weight around the midsection, and I have slimmer legs, and I'm quite broad on top, I'm quite a rounded shape, that is definitely an oval rather than a trapezoid, because a trapezoid shape, if you go back to that slide thinking about Daniel Craig, he doesn't carry weight in the midsection, but he's naturally broader on top. So it's just about looking at your body shape, look in the mirror. Obviously, I'd suggest doing it maybe in underwear or slim fitting clothes so that you're not distorted by the clothes that you're wearing. Look at your silhouette again. With a shape, more often than not, I get down to one shape with everyone. When you start experimenting with trying different things and you start to feel you know what works for you and why something looks good, then you'll know you're dressing well for your body shape. I would encourage you to look at shape again. Try the tips that I have given you. If you feel that actually something still doesn't feel right, that's where you need to play a little bit more with lines, because obviously everyone's different in terms of how much space they have in the midsection and where trousers should hit. That's where I go into it one-on-one in a whole lot more depth, because obviously everyone's waistline sits differently, but you're aiming for your waist to look like it is in the middle of your body, and you are aiming for your upper half and bottom half to be fairly in proportion with slightly narrow. So you want the trapezoid shape to be the shape that you're creating with your clothes. With regards to can you be a mix of colour palettes, this is where I'm quite strong on the colour palettes. You would be one palette, and that will be warm or cool. So straight away that falls into two, but you can't be warm and cool. You can't. That is just our complexion and our colourings. So if you're not sure which season you fall into, you think you can wear bold colour and you think that colour looks really good on you, but you're not sure if you're spring or winter, because they're the two palettes that are really high features, high contrast. The difference being you would put a spring colour on, and if you're a warm undertone, it will naturally work really well. It'll make your complexion look lighter. If you put a winter colour on a spring complexion, it will almost look too overpowering and it will wash the colour from your face. So if you are veering towards seasons, do that test that I said about putting colours up against you. But the answer to the question is you can't be two seasons. You might fall closely between two body shapes, and that might change over time, but depending on where you put weight on. Okay. In terms of my next question, talking briefly about ties versus cravats versus bandanas. So in terms of what I can talk to you about that, I don't know specifically what this person wants to know, but I can talk you through where I would pick up on those accessories. And obviously, I think this really depends on the occasion and where you're going, how formal it is. But in terms of ties, you can generally wear these more so on a formal occasion. A cravat, again, more formal, and a bandana would be more casual. I don't know specifically what that person wants to know. If you want to jump on the Q&A again and give me a bit more of a steer. But in terms of talking briefly about ties, cravats, bandanas, I would say, depending on the occasion and what the outfit is, I think that go into a formal wear store, look at the ties and the cravats and the bandanas that they offer. I think it's a great way of introducing colour, but also look at the texture that you can add, adds real interest. If you've got a really sleek, smart suit that has like a sheen to it, you get that in a lot of premium suiting. You don't then want to put a really casual knitted tie with that. It's about making sure that they work and complement together. So I think for me, if you want me to talk about ties, cravats, bandanas, it suits the occasion, it suits the outfit. You can get more casual, more formal of each, but it's about you want to dress and feel appropriate for that particular situation. If that person wants me to expand any more on that, then I'd like to. But I don't know specifically what you want me to cover on that. Next up, is it okay to mix style identities? I absolutely love this question. You can. I think that we have a very mix of personalities within us and where you feel like you want to express yourself. I would say, yes, you can mix words. Is more so the mixing style identities. You'll feel one that you'll feel more, whether you're more casual, whether you're more formal, whether you're bohemian, more artistic, you will feel one of those, but you can definitely find the 3 words, you find those 3 words that suit you. And what that means is, if you are someone who is, you could be quite casual, but you are also quite artistic, they can definitely go together. Because what that means is the styles that you're going to choose, the shapes that you choose are going to be more relaxed. They're going to be more comfort based. They're going to be more of that casual element. But that doesn't mean you don't wear print and bold and personality with the artistic element to your personality. So absolutely, you can mix style identities. That's why I asked for 3 words, because the 3 words are bringing together everything you want your style to say about you. If you use those 3 words and hold a piece up and say, well, does it fit my casual sporty side? Does it sit real well with my creative bohemian job, perhaps? And does it make me feel, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, the 3rd word then, is it something that makes me feel put together and quite smart? Because maybe that's what you need to feel like you. Then absolutely. And if people are commenting on what you're wearing, then I think that's a really good indicator that you're wearing something that complements you, suits who you are, but is an expression and extension of who you are. So absolutely mix the style identities up, find 3 words that fit for you, and you want your outfits to incorporate that style identity. Because it's no point if you are really, really smart or formal, but actually you feel like you've got a fun element to your personality. It's not one or the other. You can wear a formal suit, but if you've got a fun element to your personality, you're probably going to want to wear a shirt in a colour, or you'll want to put a bag with it that's a colour, or you put the bright socks on like we saw. So they definitely go together. It might be that your place of work is actually a really formal setting and you do have to wear, a smart suit. But your personality being fun and outgoing, and maybe you're an extrovert, you don't want to be hemmed into a grey box. So that's where you bring your personality through in the accessories, in the colour, in the print, in the texture. So absolutely yes to mixing style identities, because we all have those elements in us that we're not one box. Okay. I'm just reading here. I seem to identify with more than one style. So just probably what I've just mentioned. Does this mean I need to maintain 2 different wardrobes? Any suggestions, please? I think I've kind of touched on that already. So absolutely, you can identify with more than one style. In terms of different wardrobes, not necessarily. So it depends what your lifestyle is like. If, like I said, you have a job, which means you have to be more formal during work hours, but you are more casual and relaxed in your leisure time, then yeah, you'll want your wardrobe to serve you well for both of those parts of your lifestyle. If, however, you run your own business and you can wear whatever you like and there's no dress code, where there's no dress code, you don't need different wardrobes. You can just incorporate your style identity with the styles that you buy and the outfits that you put together. So it might mean that if you are casual and sporty, minimal and reserved, what that will mean is you could pick up on the athleisure trend that is everywhere. You can choose sporty styles like a more relaxed trouser or a hoodie, for instance. But because you're minimal and reserved, you're not going to wear that in a big, bold print. You're going to buy that in really a well-cut hoodie, for instance, in a really nice colour with minimal branding. You're not going to have big, flashy logos everywhere because that's not part of your style identity. You're more minimal and reserved. So they definitely go hand in hand. You mix the style identities. In terms of different wardrobes, that really depends on your job and your lifestyle, whether it calls for a dress code at different times or whether you can wear your wardrobe all week long. Okay. I've got the question about the ties. Is there a current trend? What I see in terms of trends for ties would be kind of whether they're kind of a wider tie or a skinnier tie. And I think this depends on what you feel comfortable with. I see the trend has moved more towards a skinnier tie and keeping it really streamlined rather than a big wide knot. So the way it's worn is meant to be something a bit slimmer and more streamlined. In terms of another trend that I see in ties is more of a casual knitted tie, which looks really great worn in a less kind of suiting way and more in a relaxed jacket, shirt, chinos. And then if you get more of a knitted textured tie, it's not going to be a shine tie that you would wear to a wedding. It would be something that's a bit more relaxed, or even a polka dot or stripe is what I'm seeing. So in terms of trends for ties, I'd go for slimmer, but also don't be afraid to wear a tie in a more casual way. So think chinos, shirt, knitted tie, and then you could wear a more relaxed, unstructured jacket with it. It's actually, again, going back to that kind of smart casual element. Again, if you were to wear that with a really formal shoe, it'd feel a lot smarter. But equally, you could wear it with the white trainer and bring it right down. So it's a way of feeling smart, but maybe you're in a more casual setting at the weekend, socialising, as opposed to going to work. Out of curiosity, might your colour palette be in any way related to the season when you are born? That's really interesting. I think I haven't ever heard of it being specific to when you were born, but I do think you will be drawn to a certain palette, and that is really telling. But now you've got me thinking, and it's making me think that actually I was born in the palette that I actually am. So it's an amazing.
Well, nearly.
Now I want to ask everyone I know whether that fits at all. It isn't in part of the kind of colour training that we do. It isn't something specific. However, I would say if you are drawn to a certain palette naturally, because you will have a palette that you relate to, that you feel like you're drawn to, I think that's always a really good indicator. But I haven't heard it set in stone that the season you're born in definitely determines it. But I am one of them. So I would say, think about the colour palette that you are most drawn to. Do you like rich autumnal tones? Is that something you feel very drawn to? Do you like bright colours? Do you like really high contrast jewel tones? And that's usually a really good indicator. And then hold those colours up and see what they're doing for your skin, because that really is the best way to find the colours that are going to complement you the most. I hope that helps. So they're the questions that I've had specifically in the Q&A, which I've absolutely loved. So thank you for the people that took the time to ask me those. If anyone would like to ask, I've got a couple of more minutes and then we do need to wrap up, I'm afraid. So I hope I've covered everything that people wanted to. But but I can't see any movement at the moment. So I think maybe it's time for me to hand over to David at this point.
Charlotte, I was just going to add something, and I hope this is okay. But the questions about mixing the style identities were really, really interesting. And it made me think of the dance troupe Diversity do a range for Next. And I just stumbled across them a few weeks ago when looking for a Christmas present for the other half. And they do, the range that they advertise is a really good advert for exactly what the questions that I've been asked about, like combining smart casual with maybe something more bohemian, or even accessorizing, because there's elements of one of them will be in a suit with a t-shirt, some white trainers, and then a really cool hat. So obviously, I know you mentioned Pinterest, but just if anybody is wanting a little bit of inspiration as to how to sort of start combining the elements that they want to, that they're a really good advert for what you've spoken about. And it's the ideal of having everything being suitable for mixed generations, mixed ages, mixed styles. They do that very, very well.
That's brilliant, Sarah. I think I hope that's inspired a few of you to go and have a look now. But I do believe that wardrobes have changed a lot, and I do think that there's less of I only wear that for that occasion, or I only wear that because I'm this age now. Or I think there's definitely very much an open approach to dressing, how you want to dress, and actually shaking things up a little bit. And I hope everyone today feels a bit more inspired to go and experiment now.
Thank you, Charlotte. Well, there is one last question that came in. Maybe if you just, if you have a chance to do that, and then I think we'll wrap up.
I think, so what about wearing, is that foulards instead of ties? Is this old fashioned or still trendy? It isn't something I've seen a lot in the clients that I've worked with more recently. I think it's more towards ties, or even losing the tie and wearing an open collar and going more so for like a pocket square or something else. I feel personally, and the clients that I've been working with, it's moved to actually being a lot more casual. And that doesn't have to mean slouchy or sloppy or anything like that. And then with the ties, like I say, go for a kind of skinnier tie if they are going to go for it. So if you feel like it's part of your style identity and it's something you feel comfortable wearing, then go for it. This is never about hard and fast rules. It's always about going for what feels right for you. So if something's old fashioned in someone else's eyes but feels good to you, then that's part of your style identity to be classic. And I think that's the best route to go. So no hard and fast rules, just about embracing who you are. It isn't something I have seen recently, but it all depends whether you feel like that's something you want to take forward in your style identity.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Charlotte. And thank you again from us at PCR to both yourself and Sarah for today. It's been really interesting and insightful. I, for one, have certainly learned what body shape I am. So may need to go refresh or edit some of my wardrobe, but I'll hopefully hit some of the sales in the new year. Thank you both for your time today, and thank you everyone who has joined us today and for your questions. It's been really great to have you all. And we have just one more webinar in this Living Well with Prostate Cancer webinar series, which will be next year now, January the 10th. So that's really aimed at helping wives, husbands, and partners cope with a diagnosis of disease in the family. So if that's something that'd be interest to you, or you know someone would be interested in, please do send those details to whoever might be interested in that. And you can find that on our website, pcr.org.uk/living-well. So that's it for us today. Thank you, everyone, and wishing you all a great rest of the week and a great festive holiday period. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.